So you have some expected input and you have some expected output. It should match that. Very simple. Okay. Who can think of a test case that will break this code if your data types are int 32? Int 32, everyone knows what int 32, it's an integer type, 32 bits. If I am assuming that variables a and b are of int 32 types, what test case can you think of junle like code like break garcha? Anyone? Give it a very large number which cannot fit in int 32. For example, let us say int 32 can hold up to 1 lakh. I am assuming it can hold much longer than that, but let us say it can hold up to 1 lakh or 10 lakhs. Give it two numbers, 10 lakhs. When you add this, your total sum will become a number which cannot fit in int 32. This is a test case which most of us will not think about. Fine. Okay. Hard test case. अब चाहिँ यो चाहिँ यस्तो सिम्पल फंक्सनमा यस्तो टेस्ट केसहरु हामीले फाइन्ड गर्न सक्छौं भने complicated millions of lines of code. When you work at a professional company, you are not going to be returning a plus b. Your one average code file can be 7,000, 8,000 lines with hundreds of functions. त्यस्तो फंक्सनहरुमा कतिवटा त्यो के भन्छ टेस्ट केसहरु हुन्छ which you cannot see directly. So you have to be very careful while testing it, otherwise the case that I mentioned, that you're transferring 1,000 rupees and actual transfer चाहिँ 1 लाख रुपैयाँ भयो, त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै नराम्रो कस्टमर एक्सपिरियन्स हो हैन, त्यस्तो हामीले गर्नु हुँदैन. Okay. How many of us have built a small website or an app in your entire life? Normally चाहिँ हामीले टेस्ट गर्ने तरिका चाहिँ के हुन्छ? Let us say you build a website that takes the name of a city and outputs the temperature of that city, current temperature. कति तापमान रहेछ अहिले त्यो. So how will you manually test it? You'll go type in any city, maybe your city, Birgunj, and right now thankfully the temperature is not very high, so it will send you back maybe 23, 24, something like that. Right? What is this? This is you manually testing it. Right? You have one input box, one output box. It is very simple to test, no problem. But what if you have something like Facebook or Instagram, which has hundreds of things to do? Photo post garne, like garne, share garne, ke garne. I don't have Instagram, so I don't know what it has. But you have a lot of things that you can do on that app, right? Do you think one person will be able to test it manually? It is not possible. So you can form a team of QA engineers. Who knows what is QA? QA? Quality assurance. Quality assurance bhaneko the product is working as expected. That team makes it sure that 1000 को 1 लाख रुपैयाँ गइराछ छैन. तिमीले आफ्नो पोस्ट जुन फोटो पोस्ट गर्छौ त्यही पोस्ट भइराछ, अरु केही पोस्ट भइराछ हैन. You can form a QA team. तर चाहिँ QA team मा फेरि you have 10 people. What happens in an actual software company when you have a QA team is that there is a blame game that starts. The developer blames the QA that you did not test this, and the QA starts blaming the developer that you did not develop it correctly. This is an actual thing. You can read about it on Google on how manual QA is not the way forward. Right? Modern software engineering ma people do not like manual QA. I can say this by experience. I handle a system with millions of calls per second. I don't have my work laptop, I don't have permissions to show you guys that, but I can show you where I work, the website of that company, and the system that I work on has around 400 API calls per second. Everyone knows what is an API? API. What is an API? I will explain. No worries. What I'm trying to say is it's a very high scale system. A lot of customers logging in at the same time. है ना? So what I was talking about manual QA is that manual QA is not the way forward. You can test your temperature application manually, but no one is paying you millions of dollars for this application. They'll pay millions of dollars for Instagram. They'll pay millions of dollars for Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit. It has to be a complicated application which can solve a problem. And if you build a complicated application, it won't be return A plus B. It will be millions of lines of code that you have to test automatically, not manually. Okay. Now, what do I mean by automatic testing? त्यो function को हामीले example लिनु, return A plus B. What you can do is you can write some more code and call that function, right? Dot add, and you can call it for different inputs and different outputs and match whether the expected output is there or not. Right? We can do this. This is what is called as automated testing. It seems very simple in this case, but when you have a complicated system, there can be millions of lines of test code to test each and every path. Photo upload गरे, delete गरे, share गरे, like गरे, reply गरे, comment गरे, यो गरे, त्यो गरे, हैन? All possible paths, हैन? यहाँ start भयो, त्यसको फेरि दुईटा, यहाँ फेरि दुईटा, all so many different combinations. ठीक छ. Do you guys have software testing as part of your curriculum? I'm assuming everyone is from second or third year of their course. Software testing as your curriculum. Fine. Okay. Who can tell me how many types of testings are there? Do you know? No? The first one is called unit testing. Anyone know what is unit testing?
Yes, sir.
Unit testing is if you have three functions in your code A, B, C, you are testing one unit at a time. This code, this function is one unit of your code. You are writing tests for one function at a time, A, B, C, right? Test A, test B, test C. That is unit testing. Has anyone heard of integration testing? No. Integration testing is where you don't test individual components. You test your starting input and your final output. हामीले चाहिँ ई सेवाको कुरा गरे हैन, त्यसमा चाहिँ एउटा फर्म आउँछ, choose who you want to send the money, and that is one unit. How much money? That is one unit. But what is the integration? 1000 rupees is deducted from A, 1000 rupees is deposited to B. This is your integration testing. हामीले बीचमा के भइराछ त्यो हैन, त्यो टेस्ट गर्ने चाहिँ युनिट टेस्टिङ. Integration testing मा your starting result and your final result should work, right? There are a lot of other kinds of testing. I will not go in that. I'm like saying about 30 times time, but I suggest you read about that. This all looks very boring, but when someone starts paying you for this, then it will start looking very interesting to you. This slide we need to talk about. Limitations of manual testing. I'm like saying एउटा कुरा bias भनेको के हो? Who can tell? Human bias. Have you heard of this word? Bias भनेको हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रो थिंकिङमा चाहिँ फेयरनेस नभएको. ए काठमाडौँमा त चिसै हुन्छ, बिहान त गर्मी नै हुन्छ हैन? त्यो चाहिँ that is a bias that is in your head. When someone talks about, when I say to my American teammates that I live in Nepal, everyone thinks that I live on Mount Everest. And they keep asking me, is it snowing there? Because there is a human bias. Because everyone thinks that the only place in Nepal, in the US, and is Mount Everest. Right? This is a true thing. Everyone asks me, can you show Mount Everest from your window or something like that? So this is called as human bias. How does this affect testing? When you have a very complicated system, what you start thinking is, you काम गर्छ, ठीक छैन, काम गर्छ. That is human bias. You will not test all the possibilities. You will just test 2 or 3 possibilities and you will say, okay. But when it goes to customers, they will make sure they test every damn possibility, and then when there is a defect, then you have to pay for it, right? And then it is very time consuming, right? Can you compete with AI? You cannot. Humans cannot compete with AI, right? AI can spit thousands of lines of code per minute. We can do maybe, if you're highly experienced, maybe hundreds in one day, right? There is no way we are winning with AI. And missed edge cases. What is an edge case? Who knows? Edge case? Edge case is something that is not used every day. Payment, payment 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, payment successful. But you never tested the scenario where it failed, because that was an edge case. It wasn't a common case, it was an edge case. It is very common to miss these edge cases because you think it will never happen, right? AI revolution in testing. म चाहिँ अब यसको बारेमा त्यति कुरा गर्दिन किनभने AI revolution in testing, AI has revolutionized entire coding industry, right? I can tell you that I say 2026 on 2025 November, देखिए, I have worked on more than 10 lakh lines of code. Me individually as an engineer, but I have not I have not written single line of this. It was all done by AI. That is how it has revolutionized. I have seen the revolution, just like we saw the mobile. Perhaps you guys are too young to see the mobile revolution, but we saw the mobile revolution. We had the Nokia phones. Nokia phone, Nokia 2600, 2700, and now you have smartphones which can do everything for you. Your bank, your food app, maps, locations, video calling, right? I don't think anyone is calling on normal phones anymore. Everyone is doing a video call, right? This was not the case back in 2009, 10 when I was in school. Okay. But you have to remember this, 10 lakh lines of code almost, not a single line of code written by hand. This is how it has changed. If AI was not there, we could not have done this. Right? So AI is not only revolutionizing testing, it is revolutionizing the entire software industry. The way we write code has changed forever. We are never going back to, who knows when ChatGPT was introduced? Who can tell me? Which year? 2022, correct. So beyond 2022, we are never going back to pre-2021 COVID era where everyone was writing code by hand. That is over. And if you are doing that, you are not going to win the race. You need to integrate AI in your professional and personal software development. Otherwise, you are going to be behind. Okay. So these two slides, how AI powered testing works. पहिला चाहिँ software development गर्दाखेरि you would think of your test cases. Okay, एउटा input box छ, यसमा चाहिँ अब एउटा city को input box है, city. तर कसैले अब यसमा 1 2 3 लेख्यो. So this is wrong. Okay? This is not a valid test case. Right? I mean, this is a valid test case, but this is not a valid input. Right? This is now being done by your model. You are not looking for test cases. Your model is looking for test cases. Who knows what a model is? AI model. We just talked about ChatGPT, Claude. What is an example of a Claude model? Does anyone know?
Opus 4.7.
Opus 4.7. So Opus 4.7 is the latest in the Opus family. What is? Do you know there is a family beyond Opus?
There's a Sonnet.
That is not beyond this. That is actually below this. But
Mythos.
Yes, Mythos. Good. No, this is good. This is very good. Interviewers will love this. If you know this much in college, interviewers will love this. We should not be shy to learn every day, because you guys have no idea how much money you can make in software engineering right now. That is the thing. You need to believe in yourself. If you listen about the type of money people are making, you'll actually go and start studying all of these models in great detail. So there was this deal between, I don't remember which company, I think OpenAI and Anthropic, or
Glass week project को आपने कौन मेरा सर जो
I know. You're saying Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook and OpenAI, yes. Facebook asked the top 10 OpenAI engineers to join. Right? I don't remember the exact amount in Indian rupees, so I might be wrong about the figure that I'm quoting. But it was almost 800 crores for joining their company. Just for joining. Salary was a different thing. So there is a lot of money at stake. This might be 80 also, I might be mistaken here, so I am not quoting the exact figure, but you can go and think about or read about the deal between Facebook and OpenAI. How much money was involved there. So this field of study is not your average field of study. Let me tell you, you can make a lot of money. You can tour the entire world if you are curious, if you are interested. I am the same as you guys. I've studied here in Birgunj for most of my life, right? I'm not saying I've done very well in my life, but I definitely want to inspire you guys to become curious in what you're doing, interested in what you're doing, and believe that one day you can actually make a really good living out of this. Okay, core AI capabilities, हामीले चाहिँ यो अलिकति कुरा गर्यौं हैन. यो चाहिँ मेन कुरा यो. Auto test generation. You are not using your head. ए ल यो हुन सक्छ, यो हुन सक्छ, यो हुन सक्छ. The AI is doing it for you. Right? Okay. Lot of slides. अब चाहिँ हामी अलि त्यो गरौँ. Demo. Who knows this editor? Anyone knows this editor? PyCharm? Anyone has used PyCharm? IntelliJ? If not, I highly recommend, if you're using Python for software development, please use PyCharm. Right? It's free, totally free. You don't have to pay. Okay. So I need one volunteer for this demo. Anyone? You just need to stand there. Oh, okay. You just need to stand there. This is a small test program that I created at 1 AM last night, 15 minutes for this demo. And this is
Artificial Intelligence Vision System starting. Detected location is Birgunj. Current time is 14 hours, 27 minutes, and 32 seconds. Preparing capture sequence. Capture now. Image captured successfully. Sending to artificial intelligence model.
Okay, you can see. Thank you so much. Everyone should clap for him.
Now describing results. The image shows an indoor setting with a man standing at a podium facing an audience. He appears to be speaking or giving a presentation. Behind him is a screen displaying what seems to be a video or a slideshow. In the background, there are other people, some seated and others standing, watching the speaker. The room has a classroom-like environment with desks, chairs, and a blackboard. The lighting in the room suggests it is daytime.
This is a small demo. All of you guys can do this in 15 minutes with Claude Code. I have not done any magic. What this did was, it initiated an image capture from your OpenCV API. OpenCV is an API in Python. You can go see it. And it captured an image of all of you guys from that. And then it sent that image to a local model that was running on my system. It this was not sent to ChatGPT or Claude Code because they are not free, and I don't have my personal subscription. I cannot use my work subscription for public code. There is a model called Olama that you can run locally if you have a decent laptop, and you say image send and it asked describe this image, and you can see the image description is almost very accurate. I know. Behind him is a screen displaying, room has a classroom like environment, and then things like this. अब चाहिँ हामीले focus गर्ने चाहिँ यो program मा हैन. This program, if you want, I can give it to you. I can tell it to you how it works. तर चाहिँ now we will see on how to test this. How the hell do you test this program? Who knows Python? Python मा काम गरेको कसैले? If not, you might want to learn Python. It is a easy programming language, I would say, as compared to C++ or Java. Very simple scripting language, and I would say it will help you do a lot of things. The entire thing that I showed you was done in 15 minutes, so you can see how powerful it is, right? But never mind, everyone knows programming, right? Everyone knows functions, code line, and things like that, right? Okay. So what you see here is a set of functions, right? Say get location, encode image, ask lava, capture frame, build prompt. Making sense? What is this doing? There are different units of things. All त्यो काम गर्दैछ. Say means the thing was announcing the image is doing this, that is done by the say function. Get location, it announced that the current location is Birgunj. The pronunciation was not correct, it's Birgunj because the accent, the American accent cannot take G, U and J. Then encode image, we'll talk about encode image. Ask lava. Lava is a model. Within Olama there are different models, and lava is the image model. Capture frame is the function that took the photo, right? There are different functions here. Now we need to write tests for these functions, right? Let us say you don't have AI. How will you do it? You'll go maybe on a document and then you'll start thinking, what if there are no camera permissions? Now you see, for this program, the test cases are not that simple. It is not returning A plus B. There can be millions of test cases that can go wrong. You might not have camera permission. There is usually a cover, a laptop cover for camera that covers your camera. I don't know if you guys have seen, but you can do that, right? So there might be a camera cover. So what will happen if this is there? It will see everything as black. It won't be able to make something out. Your local model might not be running. Local model can run Olama run this model. Right? If that is not running, you will get a let us say 400 bad requests. Millions of test cases. I will not talk about everything, right? But I will tell you how to test it efficiently. Okay. So now let's talk about the different ways that you can generate test cases for this. You're seeing different levels here, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. What do you think these are? Your file, we just talked about it. Prompts, right? If you ask a 4th grader, 4 class में पढ़ने बच्चालाई सोध्यो भने यसलाई टेस्ट गर्ने भने they are going to give you a prompt like this. And trust me, people in class 4 are doing things like these. I have a brother, I have a cousin who does things like these. But his level of prompting is very simple. Generate simple unit test cases for the given function. This will do the work. This will do the work. But it does not have something called as context. Context word सबैजनाले बुझ्छ. Context भनेको additional information, right? Setting additional information for the model. Context चाहिँ एउटा normal word हो, हामीले कहीँ पनि use गर्न सक्छौँ. Context about me, I am from Birgunj, I live here, I work as a software engineer. This is context about me. You all have your own contexts, right? भन्छ नि, in his context, in her context, right? Similarly, the model needs to have some context. This is a good prompt. Do you guys think? Can it be made better?
Yeah.
Yes, it can be made better. Right? That is why this is at level 1. Okay. So now maybe we can move to a 10th grader, and then the prompt is a little better. Normal, edge, and invalid inputs with expected outputs. You keep coming here, level 3. Now this way of prompting, I don't think you might have used, or if you have used, then this is really good, because this is how you are going to write professional prompts. When you write prompts in a company, you are not going to do this. This is not going to be accepted by other engineers, right? You have to tell the agent what it is. तिमी चाहिँ एउटा QA engineer हो, generate detailed unit test cases for all the functions in the code. Positive, negative, bounding, edge cases, clear input, expected output, and some more details about the code, right? This is still okay, but this is when you become a complete professional, right? Let me go to the level 4. I am not sure if everyone is able to see this, I know, but this reads, you are a senior QA architect working in a production engineering environment. The agent is not actually an engineer, but you want to make it feel that it is an engineer because it has the capabilities. This is like the story of Lord Hanuman, who forgot at the story of Lord Hanuman, he forgot his powers, right? And then he had to be reminded. I know. You need to remind the model what it is capable of. Your task is to design a complete unit test suite for the given function or code. Apply professional test design. I am not going to read through all of this, but you can see this is very detailed. एउटा कुराहरु एकदम डिटेलमा हालेको छ. This is how you should write prompts, not for asking temperatures. Obviously, if you want to ask temperatures, you can still say, give me the temperature. But when you are doing professional coding, when you want to generate good quality tests, and this is not only for testing. This is not only for testing. The reason I have chosen testing as an example is because it is simple for me to explain to you. You can do the same thing for actual code as well, right? When you do this, then the quality of code that is generated versus when you do this generate all, everything, whatever, I know, this will be much better because the thing knows how to do it. I wanted to execute all of this, but that will take a lot of time. So I can send you the prompts. You can execute it if you're interested. You can execute it, and you can ask the model itself, generate me a good prompt. It will do that for you. You don't have to do it yourself. It will do it for you, but it needs to be detailed. It needs to cover everything. It's like explaining to a small kid, explaining it to him or her in more detail. If you do it that way, the kid will understand better. AI is your junior engineer, not a senior engineer. Although we ask it to become a senior QA architect, but its capabilities are as good as you. It cannot be better than you if you are not describing the entire prompt. Information AI is as good as you. Always remember. Okay. I would say we are towards the end of our talks. But I wanted to show some recent advancements in AI that I use on a daily basis for my professional work, right? Like I said, I have not written even a single line of code since November because the models have gotten so good that you don't need to anymore. So the model that I use on my daily basis is Opus 4.5. Opus 4.7 is actually very expensive, so we do not have that on allowance. Even this is very expensive. Right? So the company pays for it, and I have unlimited access to Opus 4.5. Right? So I want to show some tools that if you already know, I'm very happy. If not, okay. If not, then I think you should learn and go try. And all of the things that I am showing, they are completely free. I have specifically chosen those things which are free. I know AI is not free without a subscription usually, but the things that I am showing you are free and you can use it for your software personal development. So I want to talk about, and I was talking earlier to some people about this. I think all of you should learn this, because if you know this, it will take you ahead of a lot of other people. I'm not sure if they teach you this at college or not. I hope they do. This is the hierarchy of how AI systems have evolved. Someone said that the first ChatGPT thing came out in 2022. 2022 में आ गया. They were saying what is that? Normal prompting. That all of you guys have already done. Do this, do this, do this. And के गर्छौं हामी? Copy गर्छौं. त्यहाँ गएर paste गर्छौं, हैन? Paste गरेपछि edit this, हैन? त्यहाँबाट फेरि तर you can do that for how much lines? Maybe 100 lines, maybe 500 lines, maybe 1000 lines. Can you do it for 50,000 lines? No. ChatGPT को limit हुन्छ हैन? त्यसले भन्छ please I cannot, you have to truncate your त्यो हैन? यसको चाहिँ next level चाहिँ के हो? I don't know if you guys remember, पहिला चाहिँ ChatGPT रिलिज हुँदाखेरि 2022 मा ChatGPT ले वेबसाइटहरु ब्राउज गर्न सक्थेन. हैन? It would say I do not have the capability to browse websites right now. I am trained on data up until 2021, 2020. The next 1 or 2 years, I don't know the exact dates of this, but what they did was they started connecting ChatGPT to websites. It is able to browse websites. It can fetch news or things like that. Right? That is kind of, it's not mentioned here, but that is what I think is beyond prompting. You know, prompting and connecting to tools like websites. Right? People saying if you want to get to know the price of a stock, you can write there. Okay. That is actually this tool augmented LLM. Right? Web search, file reading. Right? The third, we'll talk about skills. Don't worry about this. We'll talk about this. This can actually be here or it can actually also come here. So don't worry about this. But prompting and tool augmented LLM, everyone is clear about this, right? Your model is not only restricted to its training data. It is able to connect to browsers. It is able to connect to, it is able to parse files, images. ChatGPT ma hamle image hana saksau. Have you guys tried it? You should try it. It will explain. What I did right now is an example of that. It took a picture and it explained the entire picture. Imagine the type of things that you can do, right? With that. Then you have IDE / workspace AI. Who knows what is an IDE? So for those who don't know, it is an integrated development environment. Yes. What I said, PyCharm, it is an IDE. There are text editors, and then there are IDEs. If you use, Linux, you have something called as gedit. Anyone has used gedit? No.
VS Code.
VS Code, yes. VS Code is a good example of a lightweight editor. A lot of us might have used VS Code, right? But it is not a complete IDE. An IDE is having much more features as compared to the text editor. यो चाहिँ मैले यहाँ देखाएको IntelliJ, yes, IntelliJ चाहिँ जावा को लागि हो, IntelliJ को भाइ हो यो पाइथन को लागि पाइचार। पेरेन्ट कम्पनी चाहिँ JetBrains हो हैन, JetBrains ले हरेक प्रोग्रामिङ ल्याङ्ग्वेज को लागि आफ्नो एडिटर रिलिज गरेको छैन। यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने you have a lot of features. For example, if you are connecting to a database, you can see the database here, a lot of other things. I'll not go into details of what an IDE is, but let us talk about the third stage that I was showing you, a fourth stage, IDE / workspace AI. I know this is what I am using right now. So just give me 1 minute. You see, there is a not a chatbot, but this is an agentic system, right? This is something called as Windsurfer. You might want to note this down if you want. This is completely free to a certain limit. Windsurfer helps you work on your code using an what do you say? You can call it a bot, or you can call it an agentic input system, right? Let me show you. Now I am going to do a simple prompting, because if I run a large prompt, it will take a lot of time. And you should not be doing it this way, but because we are in a demo environment, I don't have. You're saying this thing. Okay. यहाँ चाहिँ यो prompt दिएपछि you don't have to copy paste this code in ChatGPT. This thing knows your code. यसको चाहिँ पूरा context छ यहाँ, हैन? It can scan your. This is a very simple project. This has one file, but even if your project had thousands of files, it can scan all of that and generate and write tests for that. So you can see it is generating some dependencies first. And here it has generated the test for all of the functions within minutes. Any one of us, do you think we can compete with this speed? No, there is no way. But what you have to make sure is, are these tests correct or not? You still have to review it manually. फाइनेन्शियल बैंकमा चाहिँ एआई बाट कोड जेनेरेट गरेर डेप्लॉय गर्दै भन्दा त्यही हुन्छ 1 लाख सेन्ड गरेमा फेरि त्यहाँ 1 लाख हुन्छ अनि त्यहाँबाट 1 लाख सेन्ड गरेपछि यहाँ 1000 हुन्छ. You cannot let AI take control. You have to be under control at all times. अहिले चाहिँ नासाको एउटा मिसन भएको थियो, हजुरले हेर्नु भएको होला, मुन को 4000 किलोमिटरको अर्बिटमा बसेर 1 हप्ता बसेर आयो. Do you think if those people would have left the control to AI, अनि एउटा पनि if else condition गलत भयो भने त त्यहाँ जान्छ तिनीहरु. It is such a complicated mission. Everything has to be exactly the way it needs to be. मुनमा त्यहाँ ग्रेभिटीमा हामीले चेन्ज गर्न सक्दैन, एकजना ग्रेभिटी कम गर्दै बढाइदै त्यो गर्न सक्दैन हामी. So everyone understands what I did here. I added a prompt. त्यो promptले चाहिँ it created a new file, it added all the tests here. Like I said, this is free for your usage. If you're doing it professionally, generating a lot of lines, then you might have to buy a subscription, but I don't think you need to do that at this point of time. So PyCharm plus Windsurfer is a combination that is free that you can use. Okay. This is one thing that I wanted to demo. And then the remaining three things here: agentic systems, multi-agent systems, and autonomous. This is where your job is in danger, This is where we start being afraid of our jobs going away, right? Why? Because what if it becomes so good that they don't need me, that it can do everything by itself? Matrix movie कति जनाले हेर्नु भएको छ? Matrix movie? If not, you guys should go watch it. Matrix. It's a Hollywood movie from 1999, 1998. It will really open up a lot of concepts. होइन? Agentic systems भनेको के हो भने, your AI is not only limited to prompting. It has the capability to start reasoning and taking actions on your behalf. होइन? मैले चाहिँ जुन example अहिले share गरेँ, that is also a small example of agentic system. It went, it searched for all the files, generated. तर चाहिँ you can do much more. You can ask it to pull request. Who knows what a pull request is? GitHub use गर्नु भएको छ pull request. If not, please go read what a pull request is. As software engineers, you should know. Future software engineers, you should know GitHub. You should know what a pull request is. I can ask the AI agent that I was showing you to raise a pull request for me, review a pull request for me, fix all the comments on the pull request, right? That is when it starts becoming a agentic system. I know. And this is where your job starts becoming in danger. But we're all part of this. We don't have to worry about that. We keep doing our work, AI starts doing its work, and we'll see what happens. And then you have these two things. Multi-agent systems is when you are running a team of agents. Who knows how a software engineering team works? I did a presentation in National Infotech last year. I think some of these people were there, I'm not sure. On how a software engineering team works. के role हुन्छ software engineering team मा? थाहा छ? Let us say you are 5 people, right? 5 people. All of us in a software engineering team, you would think that there would only be software engineers. तर त्यस्तो हुँदैन. You will have, for example, let us say a product manager. Product manager को काम चाहिँ के हो भने, के product बनाउने? अब ई सेवालाई मिठाई बनाउन थाल्यो भने त फेरि त्यो हुँदैन हैन? ई सेवामा त्यो कस्टमरसँग गएर कुरा गर्ने, what do you need? Payments, ल ठीक छ. If you know, PhonePe now supports Indian UPI. हैन? Indian UPI, GPay, Google Pay बाट हामीले पे गर्न सक्छौं. त्यो चाहिँ त्यो प्रोडक्टको इन्फर्मेसन कसैले थाहा गर्नु पर्यो नि त. के बनाउने हो? What is it? He is not doing any coding. He is telling the team this is what you need to do. Let us say the other person is a senior backend engineer. Backend सबैलाई थाहा छ. Backend is what you don't see on your screen. है? सर्च गरे गुगलमा. कहाँबाट आयो त्यो डेटा? त्यसको सर्भरबाट आउँछ हैन? त्यो चाहिँ त्यो कनेक्सन गर्ने, त्यो स्टोर गर्ने, त्यो चाहिँ. So that is what he will do, let us say. त्यसपछि you have a front end engineer. Front end engineer is what you see. उहाँले चाहिँ 4 जनाले आफ्नो काम गर्दैछ कि गर्दैन त्यो देखिरहेको छ. Software engineering मा तपाईको एउटा मिटिङ हुन्छ. Every day. Who knows what that meeting is called? Standard meeting. Standard meeting को चाहिँ literal कुरा चाहिँ अब हामी त अफिस जाँदैन आजकल, तर when we went to office, when I used to work in Bangalore in an office, then you would actually stand and talk and finish the meeting quickly so that you don't have to stand too much. That is why it is called a stand-up meeting. There are different versions. There is also a plank version of this. Plank has a gym ma garchhau hami plank. Now doing a plank is extremely complicated. You cannot do it more than a minute. Also a minute is also very complicated if you are not doing it, right? So people will do planks and then give their updates so that it is quicker. Because the whole idea is that stand up चाहिँ हाम्रो नेताको भाषण हुनु पर्दैन. Stand up चाहिँ हाम्रो quick update. What did I do yesterday? What will I work on today? If I am blocked on anything. के काम छ जुनमा blocks. Okay. So multi-agent systems is when you are running this entire team through agents, not through people. You have 5 agents running parallelly. One of them is a product manager, back-end engineer, front-end engineer, manager, and those agents are talking to each other. You say sci-fi लाग्छ हामीलाई सुन्दाखेरि. Oh, यस्तो पनि हुन्छ. Yes, this is happening. I have an American teammate called Ethan who does this every single day. He goes to sleep and his agents are working overnight for him, and his task is done when he wakes up. Right? Okay. So last portion of my demo is towards Visual Studio Code. यो चाहिँ युज गर्नु भएको होला हजुरहरूले छैन भने गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ हैन इट इज फ्री इट डज नट कस्ट यु एनीथिङ यसमा चाहिँ आई विल टेल यु टु थिङ्स on how you can enhance your AI experience हैन so first of all we talked about agents agent चाहिँ मैले के भन्न खोजेको भने on your behalf it can take decisions okay I have to test I have to raise a pull request you're giving it one end-to-end task but you're not telling it to do everything individually it is doing that on its own because it has a brain right Claude Opus 4.5 is very powerful much more powerful than you can understand right that is an agent a very recent advancement in the last 2 or 3 months I don't think you might have heard of this if someone is then that's really good it's called a skill
Yes, sir.
skill is not in its general sense you know all of you have skills someone can play the guitar someone can play football that is a skill but this is skill word meaning is very different this is skill is the skill of the agent not your skill I'll show you 2 ways on how to add a custom agent and how to add a custom skill and then we can end this I hope I have not bored you with this presentation but let us talk about how do you add a custom agent so in your Visual Studio Code if you add the Copilot extension you can add the Copilot extension from here if you click here search for Copilot it will give you a way to add it right once you add it you will have an icon here toggle chat once you click on this is a similar interface that I showed you in PyCharm right? Here you have some pre-filled agents that you can use but you can also create your custom agent let us say you want a custom agent to give you the current temperature of your current city something like that or to add 2 numbers I'm giving very very simple examples you won't actually do this you can actually add a custom agent just for that how do you do that there are a lot of ways you have to click on configure custom agents here I've already added this okay once you click on that it will guide you on how to do it you have to click on configure agents and then it will open up this file who knows what is a MD file? Markdown file?
Yes.
Markdown file? It is a way to make your files beautiful. File ma makeup laउने तरीका. It opens this demo.agent.md file and it asks you name, description, argument hint. You can do anything with this. Translate English to Nepali, capture a photo and describe. This is your agent. Do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to save this because I don't use VS Code, but I just wanted to show you. And then there is also the provision to add a skill. Okay. You can actually ask it here. Now, what is a skill? Who can tell me? For agents, one.
Sir, like we are doing a repetitive task that rest, we
Yes.
can teach the model to do it like how we
Yes,
want.
yes, correct, very correct. I'm actually very impressed if people know about skills here that you guys are keeping up to date with what we are working on. And this is really nice because if you talk about skills in an interview at your age, add a new skill. It is showing you. I'll help you add a new skill. Let me ask you a few clarifying questions. You can follow this up. You can YouTube ma video ban dekhna sakincha. I'll just show you an example of how this looks like after it is added.